I'm not buying
3,
also anything.
2, 1. There it is. Let's pour some bourbon.
Oh, which one do you like?
I'm going to do this one. But this one's not bad.
What do you like? What do you need? Do you need more Lord?
I tried something. Do not. No.
All right, T.I., you
We
can
can't
have
put that
whatever you
freaking-
like.
Is this from your brother-in-law? Some Nashville
That
shit?
that was all right.
It's from a country singer that's on the interstate.
Well, here, I was
music,
going to pour for you, but
roundup.
all right.
Too busy
I'll
flapping your
try it.
gums.
Is it okay if I try this?
Yeah, no, that's why it's here. Pour
You
it up.
can lick the bottle if you'd like.
Ooh.
I'll probably do a little bit of this. And
Is it weird if my tongue goes in the bottle?
Well, I got to do my
just
Christmas.
a tip?
Might get a little
I got to
weird.
do my Christmas bourbon post soon here, I think. Let's rip this episode.
This is the Okayest Hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks, if that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag, you hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
And we're live. This is the Okayest Hunter podcast without any music today because I forgot to hit that button because I had this button. Anyway, I'm Eric.
I'm Derek.
Derek.
Steve.
And Steve.
Eric, Derek, and Steve.
You could be a Steve.
I could be whatever I want to be.
Steven. It's
You-
Steven.
Stefan.
No, he would be a
Stefan.
He'd be a hard Steve. What is it with craps when they like hard 7 or like they say like weird shit? I never know what
You're
it
asking
means.
the
I'm the wrong guy. You lost
6
me.
the hard way. I'm like, what is that? What?
What does that
mean?
Well, I've given a 6 the hard way.
Well, that's when you add a 9 to it. I think it's real hard.
Oh, Lord. Oh,
How long
boy.
have we been alive?
Oh,
Yep. And we're done.
And we're done.
You're
And
welcome.
that's, we're brought to you by Nosler. You want to do something not the hard way? Get some Nosler ammunition.
Yeah, man.
And it'll feel real smooth.
It has worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty well this season.
It put down some deer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The coyote you shot. What?
I want to hear more about the coyote because
Dude,
I didn't ever got like a full rundown. Just the
You
standard
should have seen
rundown.
the terminal damage that round had done to that coyote.
Was there a coyote left?
yeah. I mean, he was in, for the most part, one full
Did he
piece,
die,
sort
like-
of. He was kind of like a rag doll. But
I definitely want to hear about the drives that you guys did.
We'll talk
we
about
did
that,
we
yeah.
did 2 real quick ones because people had to get someplace and then they didn't have, whatever, you know. It's just like, you know what, if we're done by noon, it's probably a nice little push. We had other things that we wanted to do. Oh, I almost got him.
one. Dude, the fruit flies.
Almost
I'm so
got
sorry.
him.
It's my fault. There's been an open beer can from the gun episode 2 weeks ago. We were off
Lord
last
have
week, so
mercy.
we're back. We're back.
Hey,
Hey, anyway,
Yeah.
a
There's so
couple drives and good stuff too. Like we drove decent stuff. Like you had a chance. There was a chance of getting a shot at something.
saying there's a chance.
Yeah, and some of us did take shots. Others didn't see the opportunity until it was past them, right? For the most part.
Oh, I saw the opportunity. I just couldn't get her in my scope at all.
Mm.
She's just moving. You know that stuff.
Oh yeah,
back there.
yeah. It's like you got a window here, and then just when you think you're on the spot, it's over here already.
Yeah, I was doing the whole like, just trying to line up my scope with where I knew she was gonna pop out. Trying to figure. I'm like, nope, it's just not gonna happen.
And that's, if I'm assuming the area that you're in, that's a lot of like grassy, marshy, like,
Tall.
so they disappear through the weeds
Yeah.
and
Oh,
they
yeah.
pop out here.
Yep.
And then they,
Yep.
I was
that's
4
tough.
sticks high. I was way up.
Oh, so you were
Yeah,
elevated.
you were up there pretty good.
Yeah. So then it looks like it's not tall until you see deer run through, and you're like, that deer is.
So I'm looking for a cat.
Yeah,
Literally, that's what it looks like
Yeah.
through that stuff. And you go, I thought deer were taller than that. No, the crap that they're in is much taller than
Because
you
when you're
realize.
in it, it's taller than you. I'm 6 foot. It's
Yeah,
taller than I am.
That shit's 9, 10, 12 feet tall in some spots.
So
And
could-
even still, we had a little bit of weather to knock some of it down, and it's still tall as can be.
So the coyote came out of one of the pushes you guys did?
So I think my honest opinion, with the way the wind was blowing from the east, if I would have taken the loop I wanted to, what deterred me from taking the loop I wanted to was the wall of tall crap. Like, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get to where I want to get quietly. And like, no straight direct. I'm like, I'm going to have the easiest path to make the least amount of noise is on the edge of the drive, basically. So I'm going to walk the edge of this. I'm anticipating deer movement across the drive, the back of the drive. So I was kind of watching the back end of it, but not able to cover every bit of it that I wanted to. I probably should have moved in further. hindsight being 60-40, right? So wrong place for a deer, apparently the right place for a coyote. So
Perfect.
as soon as we got up, and I run 3 sticks, but I spaced mine out a ways, 1/8er. Got me and cameraman Caleb up there, and he's balancing on a branch on another one. And I'm like, you don't have a lineman belt. No. I'm like, guess what? You're using my lineman belt. And so he wrapped himself on and tethered himself to the tree, and all was well, and all in the name of safety. And I got tethered in with the platform and all that stuff. Had the profile platform, it was slick. Got in, got set up, sent the text message. Guys started walking, and I don't think they were maybe in 200 yards, and I could hear stuff crunching around off to the north and west of me, and I'm like, boy, it's making an awful lot of noise. And I look at Caleb, I'm like, you hear that? He's like, yeah. And it's coming closer, and it's coming closer, and then it stops. It gets quiet for a minute, and it picks up and starts moving again. And I'm looking, I'm like, I don't think that's a deer. It's moving too rapidly, and the footstep, the foot beats are too close together. Like, I bet that's a coyote. So I'm watching, and I pull the gun up, and I'm watching, and all of a sudden I see the tips of ears at about 60 yards. And I'm like, Yodi, what? Coyote, right here. Where? Right there. So then as soon as I say right there, I lean up against the tree, steady the rifle, and I'm watching him through the scope. And he comes closer, and he stops to look, and he sees 2 orange pumpkins up in the tree.
Up
And
in a
going,
little popple tree.
huh, this isn't an orange tree. We don't have orange trees here. I'm going, yeah, you're going to bolt right now. And so I touched off on the trigger, and he fell right there. All done.
Nice.
At 40 yards. I mean, it was right in our lap for the most part.
That's sweet.
Yeah,
Did Caleb get that on film?
Oh, yeah, he got it all on film.
Oh, yeah.
So, I let my ears stop ringing for a minute, and I hear the whole group talking. Who got one? I don't know who got one. And I just texted the group, yote down, oh, Greg got a yote. All right. And I was sitting here, deer up. And, all of a sudden deer are moving. Well, those were the deer that got up and ran past him. He saw one, but I think there was two in there, and one just hung back or something. But it's thick enough in there where they could just run right around and set back in. And
which is what they
usually
like to do.
Usually what they do anyway. But I watched the group push on, and it was pretty well executed for the most part. We had pushers, and we had 2 guys shooting. We probably could use a second and a third and a fourth, honestly. But whatever. There's plenty of ground. There's plenty of places to push there, and we were able to do it effectively. And shoot, I gave them an endpoint. I said, here, stop here, close to this point. And when they stopped, they messaged back and said, yep, we're here at the point. Come on down. But if you can, kick farther over, because I think we saw a deer run through here. Okay, well, then all of a sudden we're down on the ground, and I'm debating if I'm going to pick this coyote up and haul it out of here because it stinks, or we come back for it. I'll just throw it on my shoulder and haul it out of here. So we tethered it up with the tether, and I had a doggy backpack with me.
Nice.
Yeah, so hauled it through all that crap, and then all of a sudden Matt calls me, where are you? I'm like, we're over here.
That was an invalid number.
I heard him shoot.
Please re-enter
There's
your
3
show
shots
and
in
meeting
succession.
number,
I'm
followed by
going,
the pound.
oh, that's somebody with a shotgun, the way they ripped off rounds, or it was somebody with a rifle and 2 shots with a shotgun. And it turns out it was the latter. Somebody shot with a rifle, Alex shot with a rifle, and Damien shot with the shotgun.
That was an
Ripped off 2 rounds quick, and they
Re-enter
dropped
your
the doe.
show
They
or
had 2
meeting
come in,
number,
one
followed
bolted,
by
went
the
back,
pound.
and the other one they got.
Cool.
Yeah. And this was at the end of the drive when they just sat down. They were sitting down for a rest. And all of a sudden, 2
So
deer come.
maybe those deer held tight
They
as
held
they
tight.
pushed through, and then
Yeah.
after they thought they were sneaking out, but
Yeah.
here a couple lazy guys taking a nap got the best of them.
Yeah, they did big time. So
Hey, that's cool.
it worked out as an Okayest deer drive.
That's perfect.
And then we went back to try and push that section through, found some great deer sign, and did not bump a deer. Matt flushed a pheasant for me, right to me. I mean, it was a lobbed up basketball. I could have whacked it.
I want to send a nozzler at that
Nah,
one.
not particularly. No.
Well, those deer drives, as you know, and I mean, anyone who's orchestrated deer drives before, if you are doing new drives, stuff you've not pushed before,
Yeah,
it's really tough
it is.
to know what's going to be the route. You can predict, you can guess,
And I
but
know
unless
this,
you've done it for
Yeah.
multiple years and really see what the deer do, it's very hard to predict.
and
what
I
deer are.
know this area pretty well. And if we would have had probably 3 more pushers, I would have pushed it a little bit differently. And if we would have had a different wind, we had an east wind, I would have rather have pushed. If we had a west wind and at least 2 or 3 more people to push with, and one other shooter, then I would have laid it out differently. But with what we had to work with, it's just next year we'll have a few more.
There you go.
Yep, we'll have a few more.
I'll try
people.
to be there next year.
That'd be awesome.
I'm a good little bird dog. Send me through the
I
brush.
bet you are.
And that is a
Used to
brushy
be.
spot. That is definitely a brushy, thick, nasty spot, but there are always deer in it.
Yeah, there's so many places for them to be. The whole fucking thing is security cover.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
we were joking, like, yeah, don't be the guy to come in here and tell me, oh yeah, I know where a buck's bedded exactly in this shit. No, you don't. There's no way you do, because they have so much security cover, it's overwhelming. You're not going to find a spot
like
that
you
is
had a
better than
buffet.
the other. Yeah, you have a bedding buffet. Every bed is good in here. There's security cover. You can hear things coming. There's enough wind. The deer have places to move with the wind change. It's excellent. And they can lay in there. They have food. They have cover. They come out at night and hit the fields, and they go right back in.
And that's why you got good bucks on camera every year.
yeah, you got
Because it's
deals
a
on both
good,
sides.
it's a
like-
good
yeah,
area.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It's a good one.
But so yeah, you mentioned the Latitude profile platform.
Yep.
Get your Latitude stuff while you can, because
Yeah, they're having a nice sale. In fact, I think today might be the last day.
I think it may have been yesterday for Cyber Monday, but nonetheless, just supplies are limited. So
Yeah,
get what you need to get.
as fast as
You
they
know,
get
'cause
it.
they're not gonna just based on how supply chains work in the hunting industry. Like Q3, Q4 is the time when everyone buys, and then it's time to replenish, which
So it's
takes
gonna be
half a year.
Slim pickings.
So
Yeah.
get your stuff. Same thing with everybody too. Like Rack Hub, go get your antler. Like as shed season's gonna be around the corner before we know it. Everyone's getting their deer mounted from this year and all that stuff. Like it's a really cool way to mount your memories. Kodo HP across the board will save you. Same thing with muck boots. We all came prepared
Oh yeah,
for swampy stuff.
and it wasn't.
And there
just-
wasn't any
It wasn't
water.
nearly swampy as
Pretty
it
dry.
has been.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like there's been years though, like where we walked through, you were over your knees in water, or the ground got saturated, and you would sink
In
ankle
that
deep in
muck,
muck. Yeah, and just not fun.
Yeah.
So you go there prepared with knee boots. They were fine. Probably a little warmer than what we wanted to be, but a couple of guys braved it, and they wore boots like we wore in the mountains, and they were fine.
Well, did you? I saw you were wearing the Alpha Pursuits in one of the videos with Caleb, which are the ones that have the muck skin on them, like they're the
Mhm.
lace-up muck boots, which is not normal for muck to make a laced boot.
I use those this hunting season
They're,
in
they're
Illinois.
light. They're nice.
They're super light. Probably the
super
lightest
light.
pair of boots I own.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a really cool path for them to be taking with having the muckness of a muck boot, but
If you're in an
Yeah,
area
so
where
it's
you're
a
going to
little
be
more fitted.
basically ankle deep in water and you need pretty good traction, they're not a bad boot. If you're going to put on long miles, probably not the ideal boot. And I'm just saying that to be
that's good
honest.
to know. People should know.
It's not a long mileage boot. It's not a Crispy, a Loa, or an Irish Setter.
They
Unless
also
you're-
don't have the same price point.
No, they don't.
No,
they do
and,
not.
and I
That's-
think that's what's great about the muck stuff is it's like everyday use.
Yeah.
Just your normal stuff. If you're running out behind the farm,
Yep.
they're going to do the trick. If you're going to put on 7 miles, you're going to want to go with something
You're
that's
gonna
built to
snowball your
support you.
driveway.
Yeah, snow.
Yeah,
yep.
snow blowing your
100%.
driveway,
Flip
doing
along.
chores. Got to go feed the chickens. It works great for that. Get across the creek and climb up a tree to, hopefully shoot a deer. Great for that too.
Dude, these flies. I'm sorry.
What
guys.
did you do here?
There's
It was a
there's
grapefruit
simple.
lining kugels or
Yeah,
something.
Oh, that's
So it
why.
was a little fruity.
It was a chick beer.
I'm gonna knife hand Joel when I see him.
I just saw him. I should have next
I
to
know.
him.
What should-
I did almost order another set of Latitude snacks because over opening weekend I
How many
used.
sticks high are you getting?
Well, so right now I've got 3 sets. I've got 3 of everything.
Okay.
I've got 3 sets of climbing sticks. I've got 3 mobile tree stands, and I've got 3 saddles for my son and my daughter. Like instead
yeah,
of
that
like
makes
getting rid
sense.
of stuff, I've just
keeping it.
kept it and then sold off other stuff. but I used my custom gear double steps that I've had since I got my 0.5, and I still love my little 0.5 stand. I love that thing.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
It fits you perfect.
And the sticks, it is. And the sticks go on it well, but I haven't used the sticks since I got the Latitude ones because I've just been using
They're quieter.
the carbon ones.
Yeah.
I used them opening weekend to go up my tree. I left them. I hung them the weekend before. I forgot how much I dislike them.
Which ones?
The double steps, the custom gear ones.
Oh, really? 'Cause
Like
of,
they
the
stack
bolts?
together nice. It's beautiful. They go on the stand beautiful, but they have the bolts.
Yeah.
And like the
they-
Latitude stick, you put it on the tree and then you tie it. These, I was fiddle fucking around with them trying to, because it was in a big oak tree and there was like undulations and where the branches grow out of oak trees,
And
there's like a big burrow
there's no
there.
give there.
And
There's
you
no
can't,
give.
like, you either have to turn it 15 degrees, not ideal, or you have to move it up or down, not ideal, because it messes with your spacing. So I put up a bunch of them. I put up like 5 of them for opening day. And one of them was on the way I liked it. The rest of them, I was like fighting them. So then I saw that Latitude was having a big, like, and I was like, I should
Well,
just
they
sell those
supplies
custom
less.
gear ones and I should just buy another set. But then I didn't because I was like, well, they'll probably come out with a better, cooler set.
Yep.
Latitude
Just pump the
before
brakes.
Gus and Penny are needing them.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
they're like, Gus is only 7. So I'm like, oh, just wait a minute.
Yep.
I
But
love
no,
those. I have
those sticks
I
are
have
great, man.
4 sticks stacked. Dude, like dude, the Lone Wolf ones, they make those really thin ones now. That's all good. I still F that up. The stackability, I still don't get it right. There's metal parts. You can quiet it down. I'll still find a way to make noise with it.
True.
There's like screw and J hook that went through the slot. I could never find the right slot to get to the stand. I'm making metal noise. It just is. I feel like a lot of the guys running that are real men that know how to work components properly. I am not.
He tapped out.
I'm an aluminum body fucking turbo Ford guy that doesn't tow anything. I just need to put stuff in the bed. I'm not doing real stuff. I'm not running a diesel truck to tow real shit to run a lawn mowing business. Like, you put that stuff in my hands, I'm going to fuck it up. I don't fuck up the Latitude stuff. It's a piece of fucking rope that goes and then you're done. There's nothing to it. They stack without having to like fit something into something else. There's none of this going on. It's all friction.
And to be honest, the Am Steel 8er, which you can put on any stick, I
Yep.
think, but like the one Latitude has on theirs, like
Gotta.
I have cable 8ers on those double steps,
Yeah.
which I always thought were super nice because they're really strong, but they bend. Like they get like memory
have a
in them
memory.
because they're metal.
Yeah.
So then like they're either sticking out more, which makes it easier to put your foot in. Try getting your foot out when you're wearing bibs
And it's coming with
bent
you.
out and you're trying to lift your foot up and it's just following you. I almost fell out of the tree like 3 times.
I
This
will.
sucks.
Word to the wise on the Amsteel 8er. When you put them on aluminum sticks, if the edges are sharp, they will cut them.
Yeah, you got to file or tape or
Yeah,
something.
or you
interesting.
got to go with a thicker Amsteel rope than what.
Yeah.
Like it's on carbon fiber. You're never gonna, because the edges are machined off nice. They're formed with a radius a little bit.
On the Latitude
There's
sticks,
they're not sharp, so you're not gonna cut through
This
that.
is a whole dialogue, guys, and it's not to. There's no bashing going on. Like, just know your
No, it's
equipment.
just
I'm
just
just
knowing
saying
your
what I-
equipment
what I
and
realized
working with your
from doing
gear.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just knowing what you should and
But
shouldn't do with your
I'm
gear.
not the person for that equipment, and I would make them look bad, honestly. Like,
You've said that in a really interesting way.
Yeah.
Like that, not that, like that equipment's not for
Mhm.
me, but you're not the person for that equipment.
no, other people
All
can
right.
handle it really well, and they know what they're doing. Greg's one of those people. I'm not.
Everything has its pluses and minuses. Not everything is
Look at all these
100%
pluses.
and
Look at these
perfect.
pluses right here.
Nothing is perfect.
Plus,
As much
plus,
as
Except
some.
this fucking beard right now.
What are you talking
Look
about,
at that.
Willis?
It's perfect.
Okay.
I just like giving Greg compliments.
I
Thanks,
Make him
man.
I don't know
feel
what to say
very
right
I don't know
now.
what to say right now.
It's really
He's
nice,
like,
Greg.
He's
You
man. He's man
Look
crushing
at Derek's,
over my
look at
beard.
Manscaped
Derek's,
beautifully.
Look at Derek's
Thank you.
curls in the back. A little perfect
The
little
flow
tuck.
is going.
Yeah, he's got the
Yeah.
neck warmer
Before we
rolling.
get into the next story, we have
Anyway.
a caller. Let's bring our
Who we
caller in. David from Appleton, I think.
Was this the story full of Okayest moments?
I might be. David, you're live. Let me get the volume here 1 second because I had to turn it down when I was calling in. Whoa, hold on. And can you hear us now?
Yes, I can.
Great, and we can hear you. Welcome to the show. Is this your first time calling in? Or?
All right. Yes, first time caller, long time listener.
Oh,
Awesome.
cool.
Welcome to the show, David.
How long you been listening? 10 minutes? Just kidding.
Well, I want to say probably a year and a half.
Oh shit!
or
Awesome.
so.
Cool, man.
Okay.
Well, thanks for the
Yeah,
call.
it wasn't too long after the switch to the Okayest Hunter podcast name.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Trapper.
I just wanted to call in and hold on, I have to close the door. My dog is barking.
No problem.
We've all
No
got
problem.
them. We've all got them. Apparently, mine chewed something up before I start recording. We'll see what the message is later.
So I just got my first deer on the opening morning of the Wisconsin gun deer season.
Congratulations.
Sweet.
Well done.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it was definitely a story full of okayest moments.
Yay.
Those are our kind of stories.
I got out of the door late because I was on the toilet. I got to the parking lot, and then I had to go number 2 again once I got to the parking lot.
You just get mad at your body. Like,
And then
really, we just did this.
Today, you're going to do this
Yeah.
today.
Of all days.
Can't have Taco Bell
That's
before.
why I always bring toilet paper with me.
Oh, yeah.
Amen.
So, not too far off from the parking lot, there's a stump with some toilet paper stuffed into it. And so I was actually taking the canoe into this piece of public. This is also my first time deer hunting, gun deer hunting on public land, too. So I took the canoe in deep on this property, and so it was already getting light as I got to the area that I wanted to set up in. And so I was already hearing shots. I get the canoe parked. Well, to back up, the creek I was going down, I thought there was a bend with a feeder creek coming in, but it was actually a fork. So I had to go up the creek, both directions that I went.
Perfect.
Jeez, man.
Yeah. So I did finally get to the area that I wanted to go to, the first clearing that I could find with a good range of sight. But of course I didn't scout this out beforehand because I wasn't sure that I was going to do the gun deer season this year. And so I had to find a tree to get up in. And as I was unpacking the canoe, the straps on my climber stand broke.
Oh, shit.
So then I had to carry it with both hands. I had to make more than one trip into where I wanted the tree that I was thinking I was going to go up in. And then once I got up in the tree, I had a couple of branches I had to go around and stuff in order to get up above the alder trees around me so I could get a good view. And as I was going up, I was hot, so I took my sweatshirt off from underneath my jacket and then hung it on the railing of my climber. And that fell down and caught on the tree halfway up. So that was dangling from the tree.
Perfect place for it.
Drying laundry.
That's what it looked like, because I also had my waders
Deer's like, there's 2 people in this tree.
hanging on some brush at the base, too.
Nice.
I love where this is going.
I wasn't sure how deep the water would be, so I wore chest waders.
This needs to be made into a cartoon character for sure.
This sounds like every weekend of my life
yeah.
during hunting season.
This is awesome. Keep
And
going,
the whole
Dave.
time in your mind, you're like,
I finally
damn it, I'm not going to see anything now because I've messed everything up.
Yeah, well, I knew that deer would be moving to me later because this property, I knew that there would be nobody going in as deep as I was going unless they also used a canoe. So my hope was that all these hunters would push the deer right to me.
Sure.
So
It's a good strategy.
I got up in the tree and I get a good view of the area. In front of me, I can see 170 yards, and just to the left, I can see about 300 yards, and then about 100 yards to my right. Well, I hear a loud shot behind me a couple hundred yards away, and all of a sudden I hear this crashing coming through the woods. The woods is flooded, by the way, where I was, because we just had snow not long before before the season opened.
Yeah, where's this all taking place?
And so everything was flooded.
Where, without giving like specifics, whereabouts are you?
This wasn't by. I had to drive 50 minutes to get here, but this was Washera County.
Okay.
So I hear this crashing coming from behind me, and so I stand up and I'm looking behind me. I get the hammer cocked back on my 30-30, and I'm waiting, and I see the face and then the white on the throat chest area of a deer walking through the woods. And so I'm excited. I bought doe tag too for Washera County as well, just in case, because they're, I was going to shoot whatever the heck came in front of me, as long as it wasn't a teeny tiny deer.
Hell yeah.
Because I didn't want to have to canoe that out. So I see, as I'm watching, I lose sight of it, and then I see an antler coming through the woods, a white antler. And so I'm watching, and I lose sight of that, and I'm thinking, okay, there's a buck and a doe coming in. And as I'm waiting, this 4-pointer steps out 10 yards away from me, and broadside, I pull my gun up, I put the crosshairs just behind the shoulder, pulled the trigger, and nothing. I forgot to rack a shell into the chamber.
Oh no!
Loudest sound in the woods.
It is the real
The empty
loudest
click.
sound on opening day.
So then,
The moment of panic. What'd you do?
4-pointer starts. Well, so this 4-pointer starts walking closer to me. Just so I was facing backwards in my stand at that point. So he's walking towards me, going to my left side, and that's when an 8-pointer walks out right where the 4-pointer was.
Okay.
Mm.
And so at this point, the 4-pointer is about 5 yards away from me. The 8-pointer is 10 yards away from me, and I have to rack my Winchester 94 with a new shell into the chamber.
That's not
without
quiet.
spooking these deer away.
Yeah.
It's not loud at all.
No, not at all.
But it does always feel
So
cool to
very
rack a lever action.
slowly.
So you had the John Wayne going for you.
Yeah.
Real
Shoot
quick.
from the hip. Boom.
Well, so I decided to go really slow with it. And as I get it fully open, the shell pops up out of the magazine, and that 4-pointer stares directly at me.
He's got you pegged. That's great.
But luckily, he was behind a little bit of alder brush, so he kept moving his head around, trying to get a better look at me, but he wasn't moving his position. But now I have the chamber fully open, and this 4-pointer is looking directly at me from 5 yards away. I have to close the chamber, and luckily I did not move my gun from the position where the 8-pointer now stands. I very slowly close the chamber, and I get it fully closed finally, just raises my gun up just a little bit more, pull the trigger right behind the shoulder of the 8-pointer, and off they go. Big bang, and the 8-pointer goes with the 4-pointer right behind them. They run across a very small clearing into the next finger of woods, branching out towards the creek. And I don't see what happened to the 8-pointer.
Mm.
And so I'm shaking like a leaf because this is it's not the first time I shot at a deer. First time I shot at a deer, I missed a doe at 20 yards. So I was worried that I missed this deer too.
Understandable.
Yeah.
That's a really close shot.
So
For a gun, though. Like, you're in bow range with a freaking gun, man. That's impressive.
Yeah. It was. I was shaking pretty bad.
Was your leg twitching? Like
they came out. No, my legs are fine. I had the shaky breath, like the.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so I call. Actually, the 2 years before, I had a 8-pointer at 25 yards while I was archery hunting, but I couldn't turn enough to get a shot at him. But that's irrelevant right now. So I call my buddy, and it goes straight to voicemail because I wanted his opinion. So it goes straight to voicemail. I don't know. He was something with his daughter or something. Want family time. I don't get it. So I call my dad, and then my dad tells me, well, first he's like, "Are you sure you didn't shoot the 4-pointer too?" And so I need to say that after they ran off, probably 10 minutes after they ran off, I see the 4-pointer bedded down at the tip of that next finger of woods. And he was looking at me and looking behind him, going back and forth, until eventually I sat down in the sand and he bolted, ran across the creek, and then, ran out like way far away.
And you never
so
saw
that
the
was about
8-pointer.
50 yards away.
And you never saw the 8-pointer, just the 4-pointer. All right, good sign.
Yeah, I did not see him, and so I call my dad. He tells me to wait 30 minutes and then go check for blood where the deer was when I shot him. So I do that. I eat a sandwich. As I'm waiting, I see that 4-pointer 170 yards in front of me, crossing from one bit of woods to another, all by himself. I still haven't seen the 8-pointer. So I get down for the stand, and that was a whole fiasco because I had to get my bibs back on because it was sucking mud all around me, even in the woods. So I had to get my chest waders on to go look for blood. And then I go over there. At first I don't see blood, but it turns out that the deer was probably 10 feet to the left of where I thought I had shot him from.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I found a couple drops of blood with the tiny air bubbles in it. So I was confident I got a mortal shot. I did not know how far he went, though. And so I start trailing this deer. He ran through a tall grassy area, and there's just blood everywhere. A blind person could follow this blood trail just by how wet the grass was from all the blood.
Nice. You got to be feeling good.
So I get, that, the confidence was growing with every step.
No, that's the opposite we usually have.
And
That's
so
good.
I get to the wood line where I last saw him, and that's when I see the white antler and the white fur of the belly laying there dead. He ran 49 yards from where I shot him.
Nice.
Woo!
Awesome.
Nice work.
Congrats. So Spike was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to follow you, big guy. You lead the way out of here. Shit, he died. I'm going to lay down here. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Spike's just panicking.
We'll make a slow circle around the perimeter.
Yeah, I have to imagine he was thinking, "Oh, you're taking a nap? Okay, that's kind of weird, but all right,
we'll
that's
do
fine."
that.
Yeah, we'll just hang out here, I guess, together.
That's hilarious.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah,
Good
man.
work. That's I
Thank
mean,
you.
obviously a very stressful situation when you know you've got to do that. I mean, at any range, even 100 yards, and then having to rack a shell, you're going to get the nerves going. But at 10 yards to try to get a shell into your gun and get a shot off,
Yeah, where did you
that's tough.
Where did you have your bullets? Like, were they in a pocket or like hot?
He had them loaded
Yeah,
in
they were
his
in the
magazine,
magazine.
just
Oh, yeah.
not.
Never
He didn't
wrapped
chamber. He
Wrap
probably
around.
climbed
Got it.
without, without
Yep.
having a bullet in the
Okay, so
chamber.
you did all the right stuff
Yeah.
from a safety standpoint.
Yeah, I was being safe and everything
Yeah.
by not racking around until I got into the sand.
It's not lame. Safety.
But
Yeah,
Jeez,
no doubt.
yeah,
it's real lame.
It's not safe.
well, I've not shot myself yet, so that's a good
yeah,
thing.
that's a bonus.
Maybe a little piece of masking tape over the back end of the gun that says "Put a shell in, stupid." Not that I have one
That's
on
a good
my gun
idea
or
for
anything.
That's funny.
It's awesome.
Oh, it's a great story. Good
Yeah,
outcome.
then I had to gut it and get it in the canoe and get it back up the creek and down the creek and back to the car.
Nice.
Hell of an opening day.
It's a great canoe ride right there. That's one that I was really trying to take myself this season. I was able to get it done. My canoe story was probably not as
Well, I was really hoping that
Smooth.
someone would see me walk, going back to the car, just be jealous of me, but no such luck.
Damn it, all this hard work for nothing.
That just means you got that spot free and clear to yourself for next year because nobody knows where you got that deer.
Ended up going 7 miles downstream until I saw someone.
Come to the parking lot.
Yeah.
It's gonna keep paddling until I see another hunter. That's great. That's great.
So, yeah.
Good job. Do you butcher yourself, or do you take it into a butcher, or what do you do?
I did butcher it to myself. I have to say that the night that I did it was very cold. I did it before everything froze in Wisconsin.
Yep.
So it was, I think, 23 degrees when I finished up butchering that night at like 2 a.m. And at the time I was like, you know what? I am never doing this again. But now looking back at it, I'm like, it wasn't that bad.
No.
Good for you.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, you lose that dexterity in your hands when it gets cold. It gets pretty difficult to do stuff.
Yeah, that part wasn't that fun.
No.
Yeah. It's awkward when your hands don't do what you're telling them to do. You're like, what? Grab the knife. And it's like, I can't.
Well, at some point when your hands get cold, I mean, it does get a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, you actually can't feel stuff.
Yeah. Cut yourself without knowing it, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're like, wow, that's a lot of blood. I thought the spear was done bleeding.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That's going to hurt later when I get the feeling
Did that
back.
deer normally bleed?
I don't know what you're
that
talking about.
Yeah, dude, dead deer.
Oh, glad to have you
That much.
listening in, and thanks for calling in, man.
Congratulations on the buck.
Congrats.
Good work, David.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
You bet.
You have a good one.
Have a good one.
Yeah, Tony
Yeah, you too.
Tony's
All right, bye.
commenting that he knows David. Story checks out. Tony had a heck of an opening
Oh, yeah,
weekend,
he
too.
did.
That buck pole was lined up with 8 pointers.
Yep, 8 pointers and a coyote.
Cheers to you, Tony.
Yeah,
well
buddy.
done,
Yeah.
sir.
Hey.
Let's bring one more in here real quick. Alec, you're live. What's up, buddy?
Oh, boy.
No.
Here it is.
This is a different
Oh,
Alec.
that guy.
You're going to feel bad.
It's not.
Just wondering if you made a hand warmer out of that coyote yet.
Yeah, man.
Not yet, but that's one of the pro tips that I wanted to share. with the
Coyote
audience
socks?
tonight is,
Well, there's more to this story.
Yeah.
Alec and I had a nice conversation, but go ahead.
If you have us on speakerphone, it sounds better when we're not. Just throwing that out there.
I've got you on my AirPods. I can barely hear Greg and Derek, but
That's
I can hear
okay.
you all right. Anyway,
We're not that important.
when your buddy Greg shoots a real stinky coyote and basically disintegrates the entire front shoulder, don't wait 4 days. 4 days is too long to wait to skin it.
So it
That was
didn't-
not a mistake I ever want to do again.
didn't go well?
No, it was, I mean, like David's story of skinning stuff when it's super cold out. Yeah, I couldn't feel my hands at the end of it. And of course, I didn't string it up or anything, and I'm just crouched over a stump trying to skin this coyote, like stepping on it with one foot and trying to pull the hide off, and it wasn't working. And I'm pretty sure my neighbors are convinced that I killed and skinned one of my dogs. So that's also another thing you should, tell people before you start skinning a coyote. in your
Tiffany,
yard is,
This
hey,
is not my dog.
not-
This is Greg's
not my
dog.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah. Forewarn the neighbors.
Did the cops
But-
show up?
No, luckily my neighbors don't like my dogs, so I think they're hoping it was
Finally
one of
did
my
it.
dogs.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not sure what to feel right now. I'm not for animal cruelty, but I also hate those fucking dogs.
Right. But the next pro tip that I wanted to share is as we move into late season hunting and whatnot, keeping your feet warm
Yeah.
is something that I've struggled with in recent years. As I get older, my feet just get colder and colder. And this year, I think I finally figured it out. Costco's got a great deal on some heated merino wool socks right now.
Wow, it's not just
But
merino wool,
let
but
me tell you-
heated merino wool.
Oh man, it's great. The battery thingy is not super uncomfortable. I got a pair for myself, a pair for my fiance. I'm rocking and rolling. I can pop those in my rubber boots and be nice and toasty. I can wear them in my hiking boots. And if it's really cold, I can throw some boot covers over those hiking boots with the heated socks and sit all day while I'm not seeing deer, you know?
Well, not seeing deer and having cold feet is way worse than having warm feet, not seeing deer.
Yeah.
True. Very true.
I've
Now you understand how the rest of us live, Derek.
Sorry, bud.
Shoot.
I not a big late season hunter, though I have been out for several late season hunts. The sock thing, the trick of like putting some socks over your boots, that didn't work for me because I have such bulky boots that the sock would
you gotta have a big enough pair of socks.
Here's what I did. I took like my bow hunting camouflage jacket that's just like some shit jacket, and I just stuffed my feet into the arms and then put the jacket underneath the platform so it wasn't on metal, and then also covered over the top. It's like having your feet in a blanket.
Yeah.
It totally traps in the heat. And
even if you have a piece of some people run carpet, I'm gonna try running actually a piece of fleece material on the platform of my tree stand. So now that we're into late season, you don't really want to get caught moving around much. I'll probably go away from the saddle and platform because you're moving around so much, and going with the tree stand. And I'm going to put a piece of fleece material on the platform. Just it's going to help that much more because then your feet
it up too a little bit.
Yeah, and your feet aren't going to be in contact with aluminum and all that air taking the heat away from your feet.
Exactly.
That's the noisiest thing when it's cold is the snow that gets packed in the tread of your boots on the metal stand.
Yep.
It makes those little bitty creaks, and then you get a little chunk that falls off.
Yep.
So I think if you had real soft, like that pile fleece, that high pile fleece,
Yep.
Good. That'd be real good.
That's exactly what I'm thinking of
Good
doing.
pro tip, Alec. The warming ones. So we had I have always purchased the Smart Wool.
Yeah.
You have to be careful how don't dry them in the dryer. You will ruin them, and that's a waste of $30. Don't put them in the dryer. Turn them inside out. Let them dry out. Make sure you do that well before your hunt, so you're not wearing wet socks. Hollow. I tried the hollow socks that I think they have ads running like fucking continuously.
But the alpaca ones you gave us?
Yeah, those are great. I've tried Altera alpaca too. I feel like the alpaca stuff has a similar impact. Again, don't dry it. But I do like the hybrid. What the fuck's happening? It's like when you say roads. I'm not I did not have any gummies or anything weird. I'm just saying,
are you sure?
You need to have enough elasticity in there because if it's not elastic enough, it's not comfortable.
Red gummy bear floating in the bottom.
There's a gummy bear in the bottom of my drink.
The green one's already gone.
Green ones.
Could you imagine? Sorry, Alec. Anyway, that's my. I did enjoy the Hollow brand. I've been wearing those just a bunch, but the thickness of sock. Who do we have on the boot guy?
I know who you're talking about. Wasn't that Hay Bison?
Hay Bison, yes.
Who used to work at the boot shop, something or another.
But like the size, the thickness of sock matters with the type of boot you're wearing too.
Always does.
You can't have too much compression.
Nope.
In there either. So with the heated thing you're talking about, actually being comfortable, Alec, that's important to know.
Yeah, it is.
Alec?
Yeah, and I've struggled through the same thing of like all of the different socks. I've tried everything. I have an entire sock drawer of just hunting socks, and nothing is like the magic key. What I will say is the Arctic Shield boot covers.
Those are great.
Are very, very good. Yeah. And they pack down small. Like I can just stick them in my backpack and leave them in there. And that's just where they live. And if I need them, I pop them out, and I got a size bigger than I need so it can fit over my clunky boots. But that has been at least letting me not get frostbite up until now.
Yeah. Cold and mosquitoes will ruin a hunt real quick. So like those are there's no more mosquitoes. I'm happy about that, but the cold will fuck you up.
I've not used the boot covers before, but Alec just said that that's a big game changer. And then there's like
I have a set.
There's a post someone just made on one of the
putting a layer
or outdoor hunting ones
that
said like, what's the best to keep your feet warm? And then Devin Duncan, a gentleman I had on the Dropping Pins podcast, who spent a lot of time up in the mountains, West Virginia, all that area. he said, Arctic Shield boot covers. Don't worry about what boot you're using. Insulated is a waste of
because your feet will just sweat.
a waste of like weight, and it's so hard to hike in them. He said, where would you like to hike? Put those on. You're good.
Yeah.
And then Alec just said it. I'm sold.
I have
Arctic Shield boot covers for Christmas. Everybody gets one. You get one, and you get one.
Just put us, if you're gonna wear a good pair of, ankle high leather boots, like whatever you like. If it's crispy, Loa, whatever.
You want to see my feet?
Right away. I don't want to see your feet.
What's
Sick
with you in the
bastard.
feet, man?
I don't know. That's Levi. Levi's all over it, man. He's singing me from all the way in Wyoming.
Zing.
You mentioned before, like
Alex,
the spacing.
Yeah.
The air in your boot, though. What I do is like I have a pair of like Irish setters. They're the elk trackers.
Yeah.
1,200 grams of Thinsulate. I got like the Iceman's, which are like gigantic.
I have them too.
I hate wearing those into the woods.
No,
so I wear my.
You will wreck your back walking long distance in those things.
They're so
your
heavy.
Back kills you.
My feet look like they're size 12s in those because the boots are like this long.
Yeah.
And they're like
do you
this
any damn
much.
good, man. It's only a matter of time before it seeps in.
But what I started doing
sitting.
is like I wore those alpaca ones and I laced up my boots super tight, like all the way down to the toe. Like
that's a thick sock.
I tighten those suckers up for the hike in, and then when I take my boots off to put on my bibs and my layers because I get so sweaty I don't wear anything in. Like I just wear my long johns. Then I dress at the tree, and then when I go up into my tree, like I just loosen them up so they're super super loose. Tighten the part that goes up on my leg, leave the bottom super loose, and I feel like they're honestly like it's like a little cozy cabin in there. Like it's beautiful.
Okay.
So if you're too tight, you're losing out on insulation.
Well, you're probably cutting off blood flow, which is part of the problem.
Possible.
Yeah. That's a really good input for late season. Derek, let's hear your we're coming up on time to some degree here, so we can keep ripping it, but can you talk about the buck you just shot with your gun?
Just shot a buck with the gun. Shot him Saturday. It's cool.
Were you cold? Were your feet cold?
It was actually
that.
actually a really cold day. Saturday was chilly. It was like a high of like, what was it, 24 or something, and it was windy. And I really wasn't. I was hoping to go out one more time. We hosted Thanksgiving, so like all week, I hunted Saturday. I hunted till like 10 on Sunday opening week, and then opening weekend, and then I had school.
You go up north.
Yep, go up north to National Forest. Saw a bunch of deer up there. Saw 7 does on Saturday.
You did that big scouting video on YouTube.
Scouting videos on YouTube.
Did you end up in one of those trees?
It's in the exact same tree. It's in the video, the same spot. So the spot that I scouted, that's where I hunted Saturday and Sunday.
How did that all work out?
Saw 7 does. Sat all day Saturday. Saw 7 does, no bucks. But I had does all around me. The way that I snuck in, talk about it in the video, went in a different way. Worked perfect because I had does bedded within like 150 yards of my. Everything worked out really nice. I didn't see any bucks. So 10 deer.
The bucks never showed.
10 deer in a day and a half up there was very good for me. I felt very good about seeing that. And then it was like, I didn't know if I was going to get to go hunting. I kind of put it in my wife's ear that I'd like to go hunting during the second weekend if possible. We hosted Thanksgiving. And then I let her sleep in Saturday morning. And when she got up, I was like, hey, I really like to go for an afternoon sit if that's possible. And she was like, yeah, go for it. So I was like, sweet. So I'd already had everything packed in the car ready.
I'm going. You just don't know it yet.
So I think I left around noon, 12:30, made the kids lunch, jetted out, and I had an area in mind. And those of you who've hunted Wisconsin the second weekend, I mean, natural movement is pretty tough. Yep. And the deer weren't really rutting anywhere that I saw that hard anymore. So it was like, go to the area that you would never want to drag a deer out of, because that's where you find these spots that you're like, this is an absolute shit show. And that's where they hole up,
literally
right? Like
any spot for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to drag a deer.
And I had a spot in mind that I scouted in the summer, and it's actually very close to where I killed my archery buck in a public marsh, but it's a little bit further south, and there's an area that's just really, really, really thick. And I had thought of an area that I kind of wanted to get to. I'd hunted there the opening weekend of bow season in a tree about 300 yards away. I was like, I think I can make this spot work. So I worked my way into this area, and I have to cross this really thick area. And like buckthorn is usually not a big deal, but this area of buckthorn is like extremely low growing. So it's a real hellhole to get through. And then it's all that black dirt. And what happens in Wisconsin is when it freezes, the ground freezes, that black dirt like crystallizes. Yep. Have you seen this?
It's loud.
And it's no longer flat. And it's just like stepping on ice crystals the whole way. It's like 4 inches tall, aerated, and just crystals. So I'm like walking through. I had like a couple beds marked from the summer. I was like, oh, I'll stock up and like see if I. I took like 10 steps. I was like, that's not happening. I'm not
No.
sneaking up on anything. So I just start cutting across all the super thick shit. And I hit this little interior opening that I did not know about that was in the thick stuff. And there was a little bit of snow in there. I had not seen any fresh tracks. So I was like, I don't even know if they're going to be back here. And I hit this little like interior spot that's more open. It's not like an island. It's just slightly higher. And all of a sudden I see deer tracks. I'm like, sweet. I'm getting close to where I want to be.
How do they look on that frozen tundra you're
I'll show
walking
you.
on?
I got pictures because I took pictures
How
when
do
I
you
walked
tell
in.
if it was fresh if it's all frozen?
You
up?
can usually see a little bit of mud stuck
There was mud
in
on
the
top of the
track
snow.
over the snow.
Okay.
Yep.
And then there was a big track. So there was like 2 or 3 doe tracks or one doe meandering around.
Yeah,
Hard to tell.
when you talk
And there-
about a big track, this is like, again, you're microscopic when you're moving through the woods in a way that I struggle to be.
Yeah, so this was, and that kind of plays a part in it. So all of a sudden I see this little interior place. I see doe tracks. I see one big, I mean, it's a big track. It's like 4-finger track, wide as my hand.
Yeah. When they
And
say
it's with
4
this
finger,
doe.
it's the width of your hand.
So the width of the track, right? It's a big deer.
And it's a splayed out track.
Yeah, walking
You
track.
can see the dew claw marks.
You can see the dew claws. I got the picture on the phone. I'll show you. But I'm like, okay, these deer are seeking refuge. This buck was with this doe in this area. If anything is going on with this doe,
Like
he's
a
probably
fucking-
still close.
Like a tracker.
This is excellent.
You have to be.
So I'm like now like on high alert, kind of watching. But I'm like, I know they heard me 300 yards ago. But I make it out. I have about 100 yards more to go till I hit the edge of the actual marsh. So I'm like out of the buck brush on the edge of the marsh. So I hit the edge of the marsh. And I start cutting right along the edge, and now the wind is whipping across the marsh. So I'm, like, I'm super quiet now. I'm just sneaking along, watching. And I hit a trail that's coming out of the buck brush.
What was the wind speed, do you think? Like, was it windy?
20s.
It was
It was windy.
It was windy.
It was very windy.
It was windy because
And it was out of the
near you.
west, so it's coming straight across.
we were texting the group, and I just had mentioned it was windy, and all of a sudden, I got the obligatory
Got one.
text.
So I'm walking south along the edge of the marsh, going toward the area I want. And I haven't really decided on the map. I've got like 3 options of trees that could potentially work. And I've got my latitude profile platform, my saddle, and my sticks. And I'm working my way south, and I hit a trail that's coming out of the buck brush that I just came from. And there's a big buck fresh track going out into the marsh.
Okay.
I'm like, this is what I want to see. There's 2 buck tracks, could be the same one, but he's using this area that I wanted to be in. This is excellent. So I knew I wanted to be able to shoot that general area. So like when I saw the track, I kind of looped out into the marsh on that trail. So I didn't cross it right at the edge. So if he came out, smelled my track, went back in, I like looped around so that like if he came out, ideally he would make it out at least 10 yards, hit my scent trail, I would get a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked my way south about 90 yards. There's some popples. I was like, yep, this is going to be perfect. I can see what I want to see. There's some tracks around, climbing this popple tree. So I had like all my gear on my Ranger backpack.
Okay.
And I just set it down. I hung all my shit, 4 sticks, used a couple branches, got as high as I could, hung all my stuff just like in my long underwear, and then climbed back down. It was cold then because it was so windy, but I cooled down nicely.
And then you're up in the tree, it's whipping you hard.
Yeah, then it's whipping. So then I got back down and I put on all my stuff. And I used the rain gear that I got for Oregon because I haven't used it all season. We didn't use it in Oregon because it didn't rain. But I was like, this will at least block the wind. So I like wore like a puffy underneath, put that on, put on all my shit. And one season, a long time ago, back when I lived in Peshtigo, I had tied my gun to my bow rope to pull up after I set up a stand. And as I was setting the stand up, a really big buck walked out about 80 yards away, and my gun was on the ground. So I freaking like jumped out of my tree to get my gun. And ever since that day, I do not pull up my gun on a pull rope. I put the sling over my head and I climb up with my gun every single time now. And that's what I did.
No round racked.
I have a rounded.
Racked.
Yeah. If I was pulling it up on a pull rope, no way. But the gun's on my back. I can't shoot myself.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's on my back.
Safety's on.
Safety's on.
Okay.
I have a bullet in the chamber.
Okay.
So I climb all the way up, my sticks, put my lineman's belt on. I'm hanging the latitude platform on the tree, hanging it. The wind's whipping.
It's got the cam,
it's got the fold out everything, and I'm hanging it. And all of a sudden, like,
I'm just wondering how you left that when this happened. I'm trying to understand.
How I left it?
Did you like cinch it down And cam lock it? Or
Well, let's get to the okayest part because there
Okay.
was no cinching because I didn't have my cam strap because I left it in the car.
Son of
what
a.
were you doing? What were you hanging it with?
So let's rewind just a minute.
Just back up.
So I hang the sticks. I
Yeah, I
get
don't
back
have
down.
that sound effect.
I'm like, how am I going to hang this platform? So I ended up taking off my bottom stick, taking the am steel rope from my stick
Mhm.
off, and using that for the platform. Oh, that'll work. So I got my backpack with all my junk, my platform, my gun.
How are you gonna?
I'm
cinch it?
wearing all my stuff, and now I have to get to a stick that I can't reach yet.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I can get up. I'll climb this
Oh,
limbless popple up there. So I jump and bear hug,
Bear
and
hug.
I'm climbing, and I almost thought I was never going to get up there. My forearms were getting so weak. I was like, just freaking grab it. And then I pulled myself up. I got up there like a little tree squirrel, and it's, Greg could have reached the bottom, and I'm like fighting like in this triumphant Mount Everest climb to get up there. Greg could have just grabbed it. But I get up there, and so I have the am steel. I'm wrapping it around like multiple
how are
times.
you gonna cinch this down?
So I just girth hitched it, went around,
Okay, so you just know how to
hooked
do
it,
stuff.
went
like a
around the
girth hitch.
backside. I mean, up
Good Set
there,
Mobile
the
will
tree
be
smell.
proud. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just like, wrapping it, using itself to pull itself
Mhm.
tight.
Yep.
And I just am tying it on, and all of a sudden I hear from inside the buckthorn. I'm like, that's a freaking deer. So I just pause, like the thing is hanging on there, and I'm just like sitting there waiting, listening.
Even through the wind, you're hearing this.
It's coming close. Yeah, it's almost underneath me.
Yeah, because that dirt is. It
It's
might as well
crunchy.
be walking on potato chips.
That's what it sounds like.
It's so
I like that.
loud.
Okay, good, Greg.
And it's windy, and I can hear it coming, and I'm right on the edge. This tree's growing right on the edge, and it's coming right toward the edge of the marsh. And all of a sudden, the sun's kind of shining in there. I'm looking to the east. The sun is, in the afternoon. It's shining in there. All of a sudden, I could just see a rack coming through. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you gotta be joking me. It's like 2:10. So I take my gun off. He's walking. He gets like 10 yards from the edge of the buckbrush and just stops. And just kind of does what big deer do. He's not going out to the open. He's just kind of standing there, surveying, looking. And I take my gun, and when I put my lineman's belt on, I put it through the sling.
Oh crap!
So my lineman's belt is through the sling, and this is off the left side of the tree. I'm standing on my stick. I'm left-handed, so it's the awkward side. My sling is through the lineman's belt. I'm all twisted up like a freaking pretzel. But I'm like, he's like 15 yards,
You
just
got yourself
standing
stable.
there.
You got super stable.
No, but he's 15 yards. I was like, this is, of course I can blast this sucker.
I ask these questions because like these are I've told you guys before. The killing part is hard because of these types of semantic
100%. And this is like what's
we got to make
the
certain
biggest
shit
thing,
works.
Sometimes
right?
you just got to muddle through it
Yeah.
and make a go of it.
So,
So
when you talk
he's-
about taking your time and all that shit, I'm just wondering, like, how did you fucking piece this all together?
it was in a moment of panic.
Let's be honest.
This is
This
how
was
we
a
did
moment
it.
of
This
panic.
was a moment of
We
panic.
just gotta throw shit at the wall and hope some of it sticks.
He's standing there at 15 yards broadside.
Which is
There's-
again super close with a gun.
I'm shooting through like the top, like, cause I'm high, he's close. So I'm shooting through a lot of brush.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
it's a
at this
gun.
range, most of the shit is pretty close to him. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to miss him.
You
Yeah.
could still get on.
So I got
vital.
on him, and I had a couple seconds to kind of like, cause I was
Survey.
pulling, so I'm looking. So I just put it right on the shoulder. Boom. And I couldn't tell where I hit, but
Something happened.
he took
Yeah.
off, and I could hear him, and he did not run fast. He ran slow, but he ran. And I was like, I think he's hurt. Like, he's running slow. But I can hear him. He runs about 30 yards, stops. And then it wasn't like a major crash, but I heard like one
Thud.
sound and then nothing. Oh shit. I think I just shot a buck. Didn't even step on the platform. Like, this is crazy. So then I think I called or texted you guys
Yeah.
or whatever. And immediately after I shot,
I
racked another round
I was
in.
like knee deep in dragging a Christmas tree out of.
you guys were at the
Yeah.
Conservancy. I racked another round in, put the safety on. I'm just kind of like listening and looking. And I look over my shoulder, and across the marsh through more brush, there's like some private property. And I can see a bunch of guys coming in. I was like, I think they're going to do a deer drive.
Yeah.
So like I'm sitting there kind of just hanging out, trying to like figure out what's going on. All of a sudden I can see all these guys climbing up trees a couple 100 yards away. Like they're all close to each other. They're doing a deer drive. And all of a sudden I can hear people to the north of me hollering and yelling and boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, geez, these guys are doing a freaking drive. Like, first thing that came to my mind is you hear those horror stories of like I was like, I got to go get this deer before like there's some miscommunication or like, hey, that was one of the ones we shot, this and that. So I'm like, I got to go down and get this deer, and then I got to get somewhere safe.
Yep.
Because like I don't know where they don't know I'm here. You know what I mean? They can see me when I'm in the tree, but like
on the ground.
No one's expecting a person to be here. So like the driver, I don't know which way they're gonna shoot. It's just you got to be careful.
Yeah.
So I got down, found blood right away. The blood was awesome. I walked about 10 yards and I could see him laying there. I was like, yes. So I got him. I dragged him out to my tree, put a piece of orange on him, and then I saw a poster guy who was standing like 100 yards north of me, just out on the edge of the marsh. I'm like, he's posting. I'm just going to walk to him. So I left my gun there and I just walked out to him and I got like close and he didn't hear me because it was windy. And I was like, hey, he's like, hey, what's up? And I was like, well, I just shot a deer, but like you guys are doing a drive, right? And he's like, yeah. I was like, can I just like, I don't know where your guys are. Can I stand by you? So like, I'm just in a safe spot. He's like, oh yeah. What'd you shoot? And then we were like talking.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, help me. I haven't shot a deer in 10 years. He's like, help me look for deer. I was like, okay, dude. So we heard one get up. We heard one get up, but we didn't see it. And then we actually did the rest of the push together. I was like, oh, I'll walk with you guys if you're going to keep going. I was like, I'll push the rest with you. So we pushed some more. I think they ended up shooting 2 does and a spike or something on the drive, which was pretty cool.
You gave without expectation because one would have
what you
hoped
have to
that maybe
do.
they would have helped you drag a deer.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been cool. But so they were super nice guys. And so they were going to go back and grab their deer. And I was like, well, which way are you guys pulling your deer out? And they're like, well, probably straight to the north, which is where I ended up shooting my bow buck. And I was like, that sounds way better. I didn't know how far it was, but I knew it sounded better than the way I walked in.
Mm-hmm.
The way I walked in, you couldn't stand and pull. Like everything was too low.
Yeah.
So I ended up making a few calls. Greg offered to come out. And then my buddy Dave offered to come out, and Dave kind of beat you to the punch.
Yeah.
He had nothing going on. So he's like, oh, we're going to come, walk back to your truck, show me where you want to meet. So I was able to drag the deer maybe like 300 or 400 yards, probably not that far, probably like 300 yards with my rifle and all my stuff packed up. And then I left it, marked it, put my hat on it. And I walked back to the car, and that's where our buddy Joel was hanging out in the parking lot. He's like, man, there's a shit show back there. Some guy shot an 8-pointer, and there's a drive. And I was like, sorry, dude, that's me. And it was fun seeing Joel. And then Dave came out. It was dark, and we walked back in there, and Dave made quick work of it, man. That guy's a beast. I was
White.
Yeah, you
tired.
were coughing. You sounded like
I was really beat.
And you sent the message, and you sent the message literally right after I put my phone in the pocket. That I think you messaged, said, "Hey, can you come and help me?"
Yeah,
and
I knew I needed help.
I stuffed her in the pocket
Hey,
because
Greg, I'm not fucking looking at that.
No. Well, and I couldn't
No, I
because
do the same thing. Like,
because I saw movement across the marsh, so I tucked the phone away and I'm watching, and I had 2 fawns pop out.
So you were hunting too?
Oh yeah, we were both. I was hunting. So he's like, hey, and he texted me, and I looked at it right at closing. I pulled it. I'm like, oh crap, how long ago was this? You know, I just put my phone away and was watching deer and hoping for a buck to come through. I could have shot another doe. I didn't. I let her walk. I made enough work for myself. I got all those, cut up and put away already. Got the garage, started to clean that up. Still got a few blood spots on the concrete to work out. We'll get it there. But hoping for a buck, and the woods started puking deer at 4:41. 2 minutes after closing, and there's deer everywhere. I'm like, well, gonna be spooking. I'm walking out of here. It is what it is. But great night because there was a lot of deer movement.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So it was like drag through all this buckthorn or stay in the open, but the open stuff was mostly those hummocks.
Yeah.
It was dry. Well, it was pretty dry, frozen, like icy shit that you just break through. And then a lot of those big hummock stands, which is just me with all my stuff on, and I don't weigh much. Me with my shit and all my back, trying to pull that damn thing through that stuff. I made it 300 yards, and I was like, I literally. Normally, I'm all for just like punishing yourself and doing it, but I was like, I need help. I checked on Spartan Forge. I was like, I have 800 yards to go through this marsh, but I'll die. Like I cannot do this by myself. So I was appreciative that you called and you were going to make the trip out, and then we ended up just saying, hey, Dave's here already.
Yeah,
He's
beat
kind
me
of in
to
a
the
rush
punch.
because he's got his little guy with him. So
Mhm.
let's just get her
Cool.
done.
You'll
Glad
make
he was
you'll
able
make
to help
short
you.
work of it.
I was like, I'm not helping anybody with anything as much as I'd love to today.
Yeah, the way you were
But-
heaving and coughing and pissing your pants, it wasn't wasn't ideal.
Yeah, I don't know what. I think I'm finally better. It was a
Yeah.
3-week situation.
Yeah, you're not coughing like you
Yeah.
were.
That was
A little
terrible.
bit of piss in your pants, not bad though.
Yeah, lots of farting actually, uncontrollable sphincter stuff.
That's cool.
Uncontrollable sphincter stuff.
Comes
I'm
with
like,
age.
I'm like, God darn it, that just really flew out.
Gosh darn it!
We got another caller. We'll bring in the last caller of the night, and then we'll bring the plane in for a landing here. But Andrew, looks like you've called in a couple of times. Call from Janesville. You're live on the show.
Yeah. So I actually shot 2 deer this 9-day hunt.
Good for you.
Congrats,
Good.
man.
We got
Selling
one.
tags.
Yeah. Well, I was able to get I claimed one of them. The other one. So opening morning, I hunt 26 acres in the kind of the Cambridge area, South Central, so there's a couple guys around me that hunt, and I heard gunshots opening morning. Didn't think much of it, Some of them were closer than others. Hear a deer coming through the woods. Look to my left, and I see beams, small beams, but it looks like this deer's got meat hanging off it. Not real sure. Kind of like up by the neck, face area. So I wheel around. I'm using my 300 Win Mag, like I told you I would. And
That's right.
I take a look through the scope, and I see what looks like its tongue hanging out of its mouth. A lot of blood, and I'm just like, okay, that deer's been hit. I got to do the humane thing. Even if I got to burn a tag on whatever this dink is, I'm gonna do the right thing. So I dump him, and I get down out of my saddle, and I don't go up and look at him because he's been hit once already. I kind of wanted to see where he came from, so I go up, cut the trail, backtrack the blood, which is decent blood, steady drips about every foot and a half, So I follow it back to the property edge, which kind of narrows up between the interstate and a pond. And I see a guy standing out there. I go, hey, he's got on some of those Walker's game ears, so he can't hear the fucking shit that I'm trying to say. And I catch this guy off guard, and here I am with a shoulder-fired field artillery, and he's standing in the weeds, and some dude's just yelling at him. And I'm like, hey, did you shoot a small buck? And he goes, no, I shot a big one. And, immediately I go, oh, I need to reevaluate the way I'm talking to this guy. I go, okay, well, I finished off a buck that was cutting across the property. I think you might have shot it. You want to come check and see if it's yours? And he goes, oh, I saw one going through the marsh, through the cattails, and I took a shot at its head. And I'm like,
What?
okay, that sounds about right. That checks out. So I wind up meeting the neighbor, but I go, yeah, I finished him off. Come get your deer. My dad always raised me like the first one who draws blood, it's their deer,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I would agree.
Fair.
Regardless of where exactly. So I go, it's your deer. I just helped you out, and come get it. So I lead him onto the property and take him to his deer, and it's a dink. It's a basket rack 6, which is a great trophy for a small child. This is a 60-year-old man that maybe he hadn't shot one in a while, but good for him. So I help him drag it out, and I explain to him how to get to the property and cart it off. Anyways, so we're gonna probably, I talked to him about possibly doing like a wildlife management thing on the property or in the area to grow bigger deer. Anyways, so that was my karma story. Good karma all the way around. So fast forward to, and I'm glad you guys covered warm boots. So glad you guys covered warm boots.
I like that
Sunday
pun.
morning.
I like that pun. We definitely covered the boots.
Cover the boots. That's how you do it.
Sunday morning. It was like 15 degrees.
It's chilly.
Southern part of the state,
Yep.
and not just 15 degrees, but frosty 15 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I was wearing my muck boots, doubled up on wool socks, hand warmers in the toes, and still I felt like I was going to wind up losing my feet. So had same stand, had 3 doe come in, and I'm hunting out of my saddle, and 3 doe come in, and I let them pass because they're smaller. And then my feet hurt so bad that I'm just like, I got to get out of here. Like, give me an excuse to to exit stage left, and let's finish this thing off good. So I see a bigger deer behind a fallen tree, and I go, that's probably a big doe. I'll take her. So she comes around the tree, comes up to the fence line, like 25 yards tops, and gives me perfect broadside. Boom. Just let her have it, right? She wheels back just like a startled deer would do, runs off and wraps around, and I go, oh no. I took into account height over bore. Yeah, 300 Win Mag at 25 yards. I could have thrown it and killed her. But I took into account height over bore, so I'm aiming a little bit higher up on her body. Bullet's going to enter about 2.5 inches lower. And I'm thinking, there's no way I missed her at this range. Disappointed, climb down, go check. There's hair. There's a little bit of meat. And by a little bit, I mean like very little meat. And then I'm like, okay, so I know I hit her, but did I get her hide back maybe? So I start looking for blood. Little pinprick blood. Pinprick, all over the place. So I'm like, okay. So I start following her back. Basically, she took the same route back and around this tree. And then I'm following her down this commonly used game trail that all the does seem to really enjoy. It's like a little highway. And probably about 60 yards, there's a chunk of tallow in the middle of the trail. And I'm like, well, I've never seen a deer shot that tallow's come off of the sucker and it hasn't died. I've just never seen that happen.
What's tallow? Why do I know?
But there's,
what that is.
It's the white fat.
Okay.
Tallow, it's like the sinewy, meatiest, or not meaty, but like fatty kind of greasy stuff between the hide.
Oh, thanks for clarifying.
And the meat.
Yep.
Yeah. And so that chunk of tallow was the technically last blood, last sign. And I'm looking around, I'm going, well, which way did it go? Did it go up to the left? Did it keep going down this trail? Didn't see nothing. So I do a lap around the 26 acres, just looking, praying, hoping I see a sign, a beam of light, an Martian laser beam, I don't know, something. So I'm coming back around this loop, back towards the tallow, and I go, okay, I'm going to have to get on my hands and knees and just start searching, turning leaves over or something to figure out what exactly happened here. And as I'm walking back, sun's coming up. I lift my hand up to block the sun out, and I kind of look to the left in this little pocket of trees, and no shit, there she is, just wadded up in a ball between some fallen tree limbs. I go, you got to be fucking shitting me. Within so she went 100 yards, and what had happened is obviously 300 Win Mag. It's like a howitzer. It's creating a vacuum behind it that is just next to God. So what had happened, and I think I'm pretty sure I sent you a picture of it, but it sucked the tallow from the offside shoulder through the body cavity and plugged the opposite hole. So that's why I had no blood trail.
Wow,
man.
A little bit of high velocity at 25 yards, I guess.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, everyone's hunting like they're blowing with their guns. Guys, this is a gun. You can shoot from a further range.
Yeah, it is. You're 33.
Oh, I know.
You're 3,300
Derek
per second.
included.
It's
right under me, 15 yards.
I think I did, but I can send you pictures of it. It's the craziest thing because you would look at it and you go, oh, that's where he shot her. No, that was the exit hole. So the entrance hole is about the size of a golf ball. I've got her caped here in the garage. So I cleaned her out and doing a necropsy in the field, and I pull her heart out. She's got half a heart. Mm-hmm. She went 100 yards on half a heart. with a plugged up exit hole.
Dude, I could
Which
go
is why there was
200
no
yards on a
blood.
half a heart. I don't want to hear it. No, I'm just kidding.
They're
it's a
incredible.
will to live thing, man.
They're incredible.
Yep.
But they are
Well, good for you for like really
incredibly
getting
resilient
at
animals.
it and trying
Yes,
to
they
find
are.
her because you did. And it's always good when you, first of all, it's fulfilling when you find the deer because like there's that sigh of relief. Okay, I did what I meant to do. She died. Good. Then there's the forensic part that's kind of fun, like piece it
no one
together.
wants
Like
to cripple them.
what? Yeah,
No, definitely not.
like, yeah.
I think that's probably my least favorite part of the rifle season is that you just, I mean, and I'm not knocking anybody. You know, here at Okayest Hunter, if you can get out, get out. But it really does seem like a lot of times that the folks who don't spend as much time in the woods are a little quicker to jump to conclusions about, oh, I must have missed because I didn't find hair right away or I didn't find blood right away.
Yep.
And like I've seen seasoned guys do it too, but I just think that make sure that if you're pulling the trigger, you are doing everything in your power to recover that animal, whether you think you hit it or whether you think you missed.
Yeah.
It is your duty as a
Do the
hunter
due diligence
to do everything you can to recover the animal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you did a good job on
And,
that, so good work.
Well, that's one of those things where, like, the pinprick between the pinpricks and then the end of the blood, that tallow at the end, I was about to just go, okay, well, that's enough of me for this season. I need to just pack it all in and call it for the rest of the year because, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, at this point, you know, I was feeling kind of like, hey, maybe I'm not supposed to be out here right now, you know, but finding her was, you know, kind of a stroke of luck, but you know, you just can't give up on something like that. So, oh man, but yeah, so that was my 9-day gun hunt here. So
cool.
Well, you did the right
I can
thing
definitely
twice.
send you guys some more pictures of that. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, we'd
you
love
said
to
them
see
on
it.
Facebook. For some reason, I just don't see Facebook as much. I don't know what. I think I was 50 messages behind the last time I logged in there. So I was like playing catch up with a bunch of people. Like, sorry, you sent this in June. Hi. But if it's Instagram, I think we check that more frequently. Otherwise, you can always email us sales@okayesthunter.com. We'll get those. We check that daily.
Yeah. I sent you some on Insta. And honestly, you got Greg to thank for me shooting this doe because I saw his post on shooting his doe, and I was like, oh man, I better just drop the hammer on something.
Just have some fun.
So,
Let her eat.
Let her eat, man.
Good. Yeah.
I'm not beneath shooting a freezer queen.
No,
No,
they taste good.
No, it's interesting. I was just telling somebody the other day, like, I'll get on a soapbox for 2 seconds, but it's okay to, like, a doe isn't going backwards by any stretch whatsoever, but a small buck might be. Someone told me, like, I mean, you just in the call, you just said, you're like, oh, that one's for a kid or something like that. And I think that's how I think about it too. So then when I shot the little one, I was like, a kid would have shot this one. But also, then I'm like, nah, fuck that. I canoed out here. I got him at 5 yards from the ground. This is the last bow hunt I was going to do for the season. I need to get my confidence back. I didn't have any meat. There's like all these things. And I was like, man, I'm growing a couple of businesses. I got a career. I got a family that's super young. I was like, this is a fucking trophy.
You got every right
Like,
to shoot that. Shoot him.
Shoot.
I only say that out loud because I know a lot of other guys have that same self-talk. And I joked earlier about having a truck, and you know, I don't drive one of those trucks. I'm not a real man. I can't use that equipment. I joke. I do think that sincerely sometimes, but that does boil over into, well, big bucks are for real men, you know, and there's this masculinity to it.
I think for me, it's not big bucks are for real men. It's big bucks are mature bucks, and that's
there's a and
the
they're harder to hunt.
goal.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's a challenge there. Yeah,
they're smarter. Yeah.
But man, oh man, sometimes you just gotta fucking eat. And
At the same rate,
like you go from a muskie fisher to let me go to the bobber and catch a fucking bluegill real quick. Make sure there's fish in this damn lake.
Yeah,
like that's how I thought about it.
Right.
if you're ever passing a deer because you're worried about what someone else is going to think of it, you're probably doing it. You're hunting for the wrong.
doing it
reason.
wrong.
Correct.
Yep.
That's the crux of it. And I think that's a lot of people. Like, what's someone gonna think if I?
That's what
shoot this
social
one?
media does, right?
Yeah. Even before that, man. Then you think about the registration station and the Polaroids on the you know,
gas station
cork
wall
board.
and whatever. Yeah,
Like
I miss the brag boards. I miss them so bad.
Yep.
they opened up what I think it was one of the stations in Wisconsin reopened up to be a registration station. I saw an article about.
That'd be cool if they did like
They're just doing a
that
couple
had
of
to
them.
bring
It's a sense of
business to the gas
community.
station.
Well,
It's
Yeah.
a community.
all the smaller pubs and even some of the smaller gas stations, they used to have the brag boards when you first walked in,
Always.
and I haven't seen any in a long time.
Last one I saw
No one's
was
taking physical pictures anymore. It's
way
all
north
living
in
digital.
Minnesota. It
Yeah.
had a hardware store that was a
Yeah.
hardware. It had everything from.
Make photo albums great again.
Yep, exactly.
So whatever one that was, if they do more of these like hotspot opening up old registration stations, whoever the hell runs that needs to get a fucking Polaroid, the modern kind that can print right on the fly, and just own that and put the Polaroids up, because no one else has any way to print pictures.
Yeah. But those are so easy.
Yeah, correct.
They're
print-
real easy.
Done. And
My wife's got like 3 of them.
just the Polaroid alone would draw people in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna go get a Polaroid in my buck. I don't care how big.
Make
Your
it-
house
make it
is
like
the check
the,
station next year.
Yeah, right.
Make it like the Christmas tree farm of registering your deer.
Yep,
There you
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
that'd be sweet.
Well, thanks for the call again. Colorful. I can't talk. Colorful language and storytelling. I love it.
Yeah, man.
Congrats on doing
Yeah.
doing the right thing.
Anytime, guys.
Thanks, Andrew.
Yeah, well, congrats on Monster Bucks, guys. Good job.
Yes, these
Thank you,
guys
sir.
here. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like, chasing the challenge is all part of it. But when it all comes together the way it's supposed to, and the wrong buck reads the right script, like that wrong buck might be the right buck
It's the
after
right
all. Like, hate to say it, it is what it is.
Sometimes the right buck is the one that's right in front of you.
That's true. I got a lot of messages about that post I put up when I stopped at us dragging them and like hacking up a fucking lung, tiniest buck in the woods.
So I wasn't the only one hacking up a lot.
It is brutal.
That's what I
was
did
like,
wrong. I didn't get sick.
any bigger buck
Son
would
of
have
a-
killed me or sunk my boat. If one or the other would have happened, but I felt like I should probably say what I want to say here, and a lot of other people said no. It's like thank you for that.
That's
I
excellent.
need to hear that, and I sent you guys some of the screenshots of some of those. That's kind of why we do this stuff, man.
Yeah.
And the spectrum of what we all are after here, we're all different
100%.
things. You know, like it's just goes to show everyone's after different things, and that's totally okay. It's all part of it. When I say no hunter shame, no bashing, it's no bashing across all of it. I'm bashing anyone for shooting big bucks or little bucks or whatever. Just do what you want to do. The tag's a tag.
No bashing anybody for not shooting any bucks ever.
Yeah. And if you want to pass, fucking pass. We say never pass, but what we really mean is don't pass what makes you happy. If passing a deer is what makes you happy because you're after different deer, then that's what you've not passed. Like,
yeah,
there's meaning there, right?
There's meaning there.
We're getting the fucking point.
We got it. We got you.
I'm gonna philosophize the shit out of this episode.
Those gummy bears are kicking it.
I wish. Maybe 420 next year I'll do a gummy end an episode. We'll see what happens.
Weed and white
30
tails.
minutes in, it'll get real weird. I'll be like, "What are we talking about? Where are we?"
So you're saying weed and whitetails is going to happen for real?
Grandma, is that you?
If nothing else, it'll be a spin-off of that 70s show in the basement.
No, we have to get a smoke machine then to like.
We'll put all the cameras in the middle. facing outward.
I love that show.
Come
Yeah,
on,
that
let's
was a
do
great
that.
show.
We'll get our 70s attire on.
Yep.
A lot of guys like, y'all are from Wisconsin. I saw that in the thing. Yeah. We're from Wisconsin.
Yes,
If
we
you
are.
have not realized we're from Wisconsin,
We are.
that's where we're from.
100%.
Lake Mills, West Bend, yeah.
West Bend,
Oconomowoc.
You?
Tyler's Oconomowoc. Matt is, what is he?
Port Washington.
Port Washington.
Which isn't far from you.
Nope.
Okay. Do I have to give you anything? Do I owe you anything for
Yeah,
anything?
you should give me everything.
Yeah, everything. There are
Everything.
some things.
I'll take it all.
We'll hit it up
Usually
right
when
after
you
we
guys
leave
come here, it's like, Merry Christmas every time.
You've given me a lot of shit the last 2 months.
Yeah, it means I can give you a lot of shit.
All right.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll end the stream. And thanks for tuning in. See ya.
See ya.